Hey, welcome into A Cup of Hoops, sponsored by Synergy. I am your host at Gasso Mass, alongside Gasso Blue. Blue, how we doing, man?
I'm getting there. Getting back to, I'm older now. You know how it is over the weekend. I think we're all a little exhausted, but sometimes I need that 36 to 48 hours to kind of recover. But it's the ABC week. You can't be sleeping.
No, cannot be sleeping. There is a lot to do, and we're going to get you started here on A Cup of Hoops. We're going to give you a little recruiting advice for this weekend, then kind of break down a little bit of our Austin Round Rock event, talk about players, kind of heading into the TABC with momentum, and then right after this show, around 12:10, 12:05, 12:15, somewhere in there, we're going to start our Gasso Cast TABC primer, and that's going to be me, Blue, Timmons, and Lyndon. That one's going to be, it's a loaded episode. We spent a lot of time crafting that episode, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But let's get into some house cleaning. Synergy. High school coaches, if you're listening, jump on Synergy. As for evaluators, is like the best tool ever. I talk about it every week. You can go get a full rundown of a player that has played on a Synergy sponsored event and watch everything that they do, good, bad, and ugly, and get a really good feel really fast. So that's fun. Like I said, the Gasso Cast will be live after this. The Gasso Fast Break, we're dropping 2 issues this week. Thursday will be a TABC primer, and it will be free. So make sure you subscribe to the free version and to get that TABC primer. And then on the Friday, you're going to get the Austin Round Rock recap. And then if you're a subscriber, that's where you'll get access to our rankings and some extra shows every once in a while. Recruiting Simplified newsletter that'll drop tomorrow. It's advice from college coaches of what they're looking for at some of these statewide showcases. So that'll be good. Hope you can take some good advice there. You get a free newsletter every single Wednesday there. And then follow us on Twitter, because me, Blue, Lyndon, I almost said Sam, Timmons, we're all just going to be shelling out the content this week, and it's a fun time to be a part of it. So let's hop in, Blue, to the Recruiting Simplified portion of the show. And obviously with TABC looming this weekend, the goal is to pique interest. Yes, will there be people that are offered after people watch them play? 100%. But by and large, this is a great event for college coaches to get a 30,000-foot view of Texas and start building these relationships. So how do you pique interest? How do you create curiosity? Blue, I'm going to have you expand more on that, and then I'll hop in after you.
Yeah, and you even have in our notes about the ripple effect of what's going to happen. There's a lot that's going on, first off. I mean, from the standpoint of everything around you, you have to kind of block it out. I mean, it's fun. I think there's probably some nerves that go along with it, but I think that there's just so much to kind of take in and then just go play basketball. And so a little bit of what you're asking, the ripple effect and the buzz that starts happening is that these college coaches are with each other. They're friends of different levels, whether they're a high major and they have a D2 buddy or D3, like they're all sitting with each other because there's going to be so many players on each court to go watch, and they start talking to each other and they start saying, hey, you know what? I was just on court 6. There wasn't anything there for me. However, you might want to go stop by there. I think the people that have the leg up are those that are subscribers, and that they have a lot of our
tools.
They have our tools and our resources of all the players from the database, so they can go that, which will help them. But we also know, though, with that list of hundreds and hundreds of players, college coaches are going, hey, take a look at this. You should go to court 6. You should go to court 7. You should be part. So if you're playing and you're playing hard and you have already started the process of trying to build the interest because you're initiating it, it doesn't matter what court you're on. College coaches will show up if you've done your job up to this point.
Yep. And just, Blue, you always say it best. Just go out there and play. Stop focusing on the aesthetics of the event. Yes, it's incredible. Yes, there will be tons of college coaches there. Just go out and play and do your thing and see what happens. And then to Blue's other point of like coaches talk to coaches and this ripple effect, I'll kind of go into a little bit of a story here. A high major coach last year was sitting watching a team, and a player on the other team was incredible. And I know I'm being vague here, but he wasn't quite good enough for his level, but he started advocating about him to every single other person around. And this, like I said, this is a high major head coach, and he's advocating for a kid who's not quite his level, but he's telling all these other college coaches to go watch him, which I thought was really, really cool. And I wish I could be more specific, but just know what Blue's saying is right. There's a ripple effect. Momentum carries at the TABC. It's really cool to watch, and that upstairs is electric. The lining of the walls of the college coaches is electric, and it is going to be a fun time. So just go out there, play, compete, and then do your diligence beforehand. Communicate with these coaches beforehand. Try and get on their radar beforehand. The prepared ones have, and that makes for an exciting weekend this weekend. But we're going to talk more about the teams.
My mind is racing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just real quick, I just feel that I want to throw this out there is that remember that when you're playing, you don't know who really is lined up on the wall. Yeah, you might be able to see Oklahoma State and Kansas and Texas and SFA, ACU, whoever it may be, Sam Houston State. However, the thing is, those guys that are lined up were once at a different division. And what they're doing is they always are taking notes going, oh, that kid would have been great if I was still at Kingsville or if I was still at Midwestern State. And so that's where the buzz and the name exchanging really happens.
Yeah, and if you're even to that point, if you're a younger prospect, even if like you may not be that level yet, they're still circling your name and say, I got to probably come back to that. I was talking to a coach yesterday who said, hey, let's go through my notes from last year and tell me where these guys are at and if these names are relevant to me. And there were some guys on there that I didn't know last year that caught the eye of him. And he was like, I know that guy. That's a great name, which is just really cool to see these guys come back. And he wasn't necessarily looking for 2025's last year, but fast forward 1 year, and it is 2025's time to shine by and large to these college coaches. So we're going to touch on a lot of TABC next, but I want to hit on the fact that we had an incredible event last weekend down in Austin. Awesome venue, awesome teams, awesome rivalry. We get to really shine a spotlight on those Austin area teams. And so what me and Blue are going to do, we're going to make a Round Rock starting five plus a sick man. We're going to ham and egg it, kind of go back and forth and just talk about some things that we saw from players. Blue, every one of these guys on my list and on your list, I feel like we could flip lists and go into depth here, which I think is really cool. We did a lot of watching together, which we don't always do. But it was a fun weekend for us because, yeah.
When I was typing things in, I was like, and I saw your list first, I was like, oh, he didn't use this guy? He didn't use this guy? I know there's only 6 on the list, but it's like you're right. We can just kind of have a conversation here.
So why don't you throw out a guard who really caught your eye, played really well, and expand on him?
I think this guy might have shot 100% from three-pointers.
It was unbelievable.
If I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Dallas Hernandez was crazy good, and he is in the running for my MVP that we select in the newsletter. The Guess So Fast break. So I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be my MVP, but he's one of the candidates for me. And so, I think back to when I first saw him with Leander Glenn in the Pflugerville tournament back in the first week in December. And I think that's always key when you can remember the first time you see somebody.
Yeah.
And that was obviously his first impression. And now here we are, what are we, 7 months later, nearly 7 months later, is that he's just gotten better. Like he's going to be able to, and he was with the Texas Attack lead team, is that he was able to be the leader, be the guy, the go-to guy. And he was hitting shots. Like these were beautiful looking shots coming off of his hand. And there was a time or two that I was sitting there watching going, is that one not going to go in? No, yes, it did. And it's just, there was a very poised way to his game. And just, his overall ability to hit jumpers and also to handle the ball, to distribute it. Man, I just loved watching him, and I watched him multiple times this past weekend because I just thought that there was this coolness, this calm, poised kid that's entering his that will enter his junior year.
Yeah, and that's a team that's poised to be really, really good next year, and I hope they stick together. They're going to win a lot of games. I'm going to go with Judson Lowe, Jay Uno. This kid, man, he plays a very relaxed game, and it's like nothing bothers him, and he just kind of goes out there and plays. And Judson can go get to the basket, finish, can knock down shots, can score in a hurry. Big guard, well built, and he just makes plays. Like every time you look up and something like kind of chaotic's going in the game, he's always in the middle of it, making a play. Just a big fan of Judson Lowe, and I've seen him do it on a lot of different stages. I've seen him with his high school team. I've seen him with 2 separate AAU groups, and every time I come away watching him, I'm just like, that kid's just got it. He's really good. He can play.
And one guy I think that we're all excited to see, and we've been watching him, been keeping up with him. We saw him early on in the spring season. That's Aiden Dessou. I think that he has come I've come to the realization that, you know what this guy is he's becoming up this power wing. He's becoming a guy that can put it on the floor and go. He's knocking down shots and just cleaning up the glass. And
did he miss this weekend? Did he miss this weekend? Genuinely.
I mean, what he was doing was the typical kind of keeping the defense off balance because he can get to the rim and he's physical.
Yeah.
And he's able to put his shoulders into you and go drag you with him to the basket to go finish. And, we've talked about a little bit and how high this kid is. I don't think we're done evaluating him from the standpoint of saying, oh, he's this or he's that. But when it comes to a level, my goodness, this guy is tipping in a high level, in the high level tier that we'll get into it in the TABC, but it's he was one I think we all had circled and we all really paid attention to. He was very lively throughout the entire in his 2-game set on Saturday. Loved watching him.
Spoiler alert, he was my MVP in the newsletter, so that's why I'm not talking about him here. So that's why you got lucky enough to talk about him because I did my players first. But, I mean, what don't you like about Aiden Dessou? He's a strong 6'6", 6'7" wing. He's athletic. He can rebound. He defends. He's a shooter. Like, when you're recruiting a wing, like, what doesn't he have? And he's a guy that's going to be really, really turning some heads at the TABC if coaches haven't seen him because, like you said, he's leveled up his game, and college coaches will underline take notice. So
he's built differently than his brother.
He is,
and Dylan was there, and I spoke to Dylan, and even Dylan playing for Texas, obviously going around having interviews and workouts with NBA teams. So Dylan knows what it takes, and so he's talking to me about his younger brother, and he's just like he sees where the transformation has been coming with Aiden, and I think that speaks volumes because I mean when you have an NBA brother, possible 2-way guy that's high praise where Aiden is getting attention even from his older brother.
Yeah. I'm going to hop in with another guy who's just risen his stock continually, and this is what you love to see from a prospect. Every time you see them, they're getting better, they're adding more to his game. But Billy White Jr., this guy is so efficient. He's scoring. Billy this weekend is just like, how well are you going to rebound game in and game out? Because you've got the size, you can shoot. Are you going to go mix it up? And it's exactly what he does. I mean, when you add layers every single week, when I see you or every time that I see you over the course of these months, I'm really excited about a player like that. And I think Billy's just been on a steady incline of our rankings, and for good reason. Like, this guy has a chance to really turn some heads again this weekend. He's a 2026 who I think will be circled by a lot of teams because of his skill set.
Yeah, and you could just kind of see it in him throughout the weekend of making smart plays and hitting little short range jumpers. He's also put some bulk, like he's trying to create that bulk to his body that is going to be that will pay dividends
Yep.
as he continues to move on. Ben Wagner. I think that we talk a lot about the guard play of this San Antonio Hoops elite team that continues to win. Um, they are a fun watch. I think that they know what their identity is as a group that is going to grab the eyes and recruitment of a lot of the non-division ones, and that's great. That's what I love about this team, because when you pick them apart, if you talk about one, you got to talk about the other. But I think Ben Wagner is one of those guys that kind of gives the San Antonio Hoops uh, a little bit of a variety or versatility, because he is 6'6", 6'7", can go inside out. He'll go out to the perimeter and he'll catch and shoot. He's not scared to dive on the floor, make plays, rebound, do a little bit of the dirty work. And I think that he's just a versatile forward that where when he has to go inside and take on the take on the position of being the big, well, guess what? He doesn't mind doing it, because he knows he's at an advantage that he can pull a 6'8", 6'9" guy, because he has a little bit quicker feet and that he does have that skill set to let the ball fly. And so he's just another piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I'm going to go with Corbin Crocker, San Antonio Rhythm. It really rekindled my excitement for him when I saw him, and I watched him a couple times this weekend. They got zoned a bunch because they're a pretty big team with Trey Clark, Maxwell Doctor, Draven Duncan. Like, they've got a lot of size, so they're going to get zoned a lot. And Corbin just ate teams up in the middle of the zone. He would flash in there, make passes, look opposite, and it's just a layer that I really haven't seen from him. What I've seen from him is him catch the ball, drop step, and go dunk it. And he was still doing that, don't get me wrong, but my Lord, like, just the way he would go grab the ball out of the midair and make a pass to the backside was really, really impressive. You know, that's just what you like to see. Like, okay, it doesn't matter what these opposite coaches throw at you. You have the understanding to go execute and make a play. No matter what, you're multiple, you're versatile. You can take something and make it really good. And that's just what Corbin did this weekend.
The skill level of toughness.
Yeah.
Like that's a skill set that sometimes people take for granted, whether it's a recruiter watching from the sideline or a player that just wants to be more finesse.
Love it. Hey, that's going to wrap up this A Cup of Hoops, but stay with us. We have 550 people currently watching this. In about 20 minutes, we're going live with our TABC Primer GassoCast. It will be two more faces along with me and Blue, and it is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk a lot of players, a lot of matchups, a lot of everything to get us ready for the nation's best premier event. Blue's also going to give some context on how special it is, and I'm going to tell you everything that Gasso's doing behind the scenes for college coaches. So stay with us. Be on the lookout for that. We are going live in about 20 minutes, give or take. Don't hold me down to the time. There's still four moving parts.
12:05.
Yeah.
Let's say 12:05. We had one eager staff member that was driving into the office today, that we won't say that it was Lyndon, but he's en route to somewhere else so you can get in front of the computer. So 565 people. You need to come back at lunch in about 15 minutes or so, and we'll have who knows how long it's going to be.
Yep.
As far as the lengthwise, there's a lot to talk about.
We will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.